What truly makes mixed martial arts so special is the uncertainty. Because no matter how dominant you look, no matter how untouchable you seem, eventually almost everyone takes an L. And right now, the UFC have two kings who just haven't tasted that yet. Those being Khamzat Chimaev and Ilia Topuria. Both undefeated, both champions, and both looking like they could run their entire divisions for years and years to come. But here's the big question, because between these two monsters, whose O's gotta go first? And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 3,000 subscribers by May. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look. So, UFC 319 is finally behind us, and man, what a night it was. I mean, we finally got to see the coronation of our undisputed middleweight king in Khamzat Chimaev. He's now 15-0, still undefeated, and still looking like one of the most scariest guys in the sport today. But it also raises a question that's been at the back of every MMA fan's mind for a little teeny-weeny bit now. Because between the two undefeated champions that are currently running the UFC right now, in Khamzat Chimaev and Ilia Topuria, who's most likely to lose their O first? And maybe, just maybe, could they both actually keep it forever? Well, I'm a diehard fan of both, so don't expect any sugarcoating here, because this is going to be raw, straight to the point, and nothing but the truth. So, let's get into it. So, let's start off with Khamzat. And over the next year or two, his schedule looks to be pretty straightforward in my opinion. And after it just came out that he will not be fighting again for the remainder of this year, it's even more straightforward than it was previously. So he's probably going to be fighting the winner of Nasruddin Imavov versus Caio Borralho first, once all of that gets settled on the 6th of October. And, now that we've got this new matchup between Reiner de Ridder and Fluffy Hernandez, those two will be probably fighting for the number 2 contendership. So after Khamzat gets finished off with the winner of Caio versus Imavov, he'll likely be hunting for the winner of them next. And then lastly, we've got the possible rematch with Dricus du Plessis once he's able to rack up either 1 or 2 more highlight reel performances. And so on paper, honestly, I believe that Khamzat Chimaev should win all of these fights, if not in dominant, undisputed fashion. I mean, the reason is simple. His style is just a nightmare for every single middleweight on the current roster, and maybe even of all time. But I digress. The guy comes out like a freight train and closes the distance instantly. And once he gets his hands on you, it's usually GG's from then on out. I mean, most of the division just doesn't have the mix of takedown defense, fight IQ, as well as striking power needed in order to stop that type of game. I think Nasruddin Imavov's definitely got the power, but he can get a little reckless at times. Caio Borralho, on the other hand, has definitely got the durability, but is his grappling on the same level of Khamzat? I don't think so. Dricus du Plessis has definitely got the toughness, but we've already seen what happened when he ran into Khamzat's pressure. And do we really want to see that again for 25 straight minutes? Again, I don't think so. And Fluffy, well, honestly, let's see how Fluffy does against RDR, because I think with his combination of cardio, pressure, pace, as well as heart, then he could maybe pose some type of competition for Khamzat, but only time will tell. So at 205, I just don't really see a clear threat for Boers. I think the bigger danger for Khamzat truly comes if he decides to move up to 205. And at light heavyweight, he's no longer the biggest guy in the cage anymore. And the fighters there hit a whole lot harder than the guys back at 185. And, even then, I'd still favor him against most of the division, honestly. The one guy, though, that I do think could really give him some problems is Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev has the takedown defense to actually stuff some of Khamzat's shots, plus the striking to make him pay for overcommitting. That's the kind of matchup where Khamzat's O could actually be in real, true danger. But outside of that, Khamzat looks like he's in a very safe spot, and as long as he doesn't rush into light heavyweight too fast, I think he stays undefeated for a good, long while. Now, Ilia Topuria is in a very different situation because he's the current lightweight champ, and the next couple years could feature some really tricky names, to be completely honest with you. And I'm talking about guys like Justin the Highlight Gaethje, Arman Tsarukyan, and maybe even a really big fight with Paddy the Matty Pimblett. But let's be real right now. Both Gaethje as well as Paddy are super competitive fights for Topuria, but I do think that Ilia has the edge in both fairly easily. I mean, Justin Gaethje's dangerous, sure. He hits like a truck and drags people into wars, but he also gets hit clean a lot and often. And Ilia Topuria's boxing is sharp enough to take advantage of stuff like that. And, for Paddy the Baddy, on the other hand, he's got some slick submissions, but Ilia Topuria's too composed, too smart in order to get caught in spots like that. And if Charles Oliveira couldn't do it, neither can you, Paddy boy. The real problem, though, is Arman Tsarukyan. Because out of everyone in Ilia Topuria's path, Arman Tsarukyan is the real deal stylistic nightmare, in my opinion. He's got the wrestling, he's got the pressure, as well as the cardio to completely throw Ilia Topuria off of his rhythm. That's the one fight at lightweight where I honestly really kinda wouldn't feel confident picking Ilia, but I will anyway, because, what? But that's before we even get to talk about what happens if Ilia Topuria moves up to welterweight. Because all bias, all glaze, and all D-right aside, that's where things really get dangerous for Topuria. I mean, at 170, you've got guys like the Dirty Rat Islam Makhachev, Jack Della Maddalena, Shitrack Makhmanov, Sean Brady, Michael Morales, Marty from Nebraska, Carlos Prates, and even Ian Gary. The common denominator, size. Those guys are just naturally bigger, longer, and stronger than Ilia Topuria. Pause. He's not a huge lightweight, and at welterweight, he's gonna be so undersized that skill can only make up for so much when you're facing such a physical monster in every single fight. And while obviously Topuria's got that equalizer in that nuclear KO ability, it only can mean so much when you're fighting longer, rangier guys like, a Marty, an Ian Gary, a Carlos Prates, and even a JDM. So while Ilia can stay undefeated for a bit longer at 155, the second he goes up, the margin for error kinda, sorta disappears. So here's the bottom line. I believe that Khamzat Chimaev's road will be a little smoother than Ilia Topuria's. I mean, his next opponents are favorable, and even if he does move up, the list of guys who can actually beat him is very short. Ilia Topuria's road, on the other hand, way more dangerous. I mean, he's already got someone within his division, Arman Tsarukyan, who could cause some serious problems, and if he jumps up to the welterweight division, half of the top 10 could realistically have the edge over him and could potentially beat him. But inshallah, that will never happen because El Matador is inevitable. So while Khamzat Chimaev's O is protected by his size, his style, as well as his matchups, Ilia Topuria's O is threatened by bad stylistic matchups and physical disadvantages. That's the real difference between the two here, honestly. But now, for the final prediction. Who loses first? And if I had to put money on it, I'd have to give it to Ilia Topuria. Not because he isn't elite in any sort of way, shape, or form. Actually, the contrary, he's incredible, but because of the matchups in front of him are just way riskier. Arman Tsarukyan alone could be the guy to ruin that perfect record, and welterweight is crazy stacked with killers that are just simply too big. Khamzat Chimaev, on the other hand, has a very realistic path to staying undefeated for years. The only real danger zone is at light heavyweight, and even then, it might only be someone like Magomed Ankalaev who can truly stop his reign. But at the end of the day, both of these guys are special fighters and both could keep their O's for a very long time. But if we're talking raw truth, Ilia's streak is the one that'll most likely be the first to break. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Let me know in the comment section below, who do you think's O's first to go? Ilia Topuria or Khamzat Chimaev? Let me know in the comment section below. But that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.